All right, you all, we're starting off with 4 pounds of venison, 1 pound of bacon ground up. You can see I've got the jars already prepared over there. Uh, Definitely want to make sure you guys that you're clean about this kind of stuff. Make sure your hands are clean before you start mixing any of this particular type of thing. Uh, I do want to stress that because you don't want to contaminate the stuff, okay? Okay, you guys, make sure you scald them jars when you do that, okay? Scald your equipment. Everything that you're going to use that you're going to want to consume later on, you're going to have to scald it. Now here you'll just see me mixing up this deer meat and then turning it in, guys, to sausage balls prior to this video when I'm, just in the preparations. And of course, there it is. You got you guys with everything mixed up and it's ready to be put on the stove. So let's get in here and talk about this just a little bit so you'll understand the process that we're getting ready to go through. Well, good morning, you all. God bless you. Thank you so much for watching. You all, there's times in world history where things happen to, whatever grid you lived on, whether it's a power grid or just the natural grid that people live on. Things happen to where their food that they've got stored just might spoil. Well, we live in a day and a time when if the power grid goes down, and it happens every year, power grids go down and millions or billions of dollars worth of people's preserved food goes to waste and is lost because they don't know how to prepare the stuff and save it in case of an emergency. Every year, tornadoes, whatever, tears the power grid down. The power grid can go down, okay? And when that happens, sometimes it happens for months, months on end. So what I'm going to show you today, you all, is how to take meat, in particular hamburger. We know that people will go out and they'll buy up, 50 or 60 pound of hamburger. And when the power grid goes out, they can't save that hamburger. They don't know how to save that hamburger. So I'm going to show you how we did it in the old days, how Grandma did it way before there was any pressure cookers. Okay, way before pressure cooker could come out. I'm going to show you the way to preserve your sausage. My mom and dad did it. I used to do it when I raised hogs. We canned the sausage, okay? So what you want to do if you're having a power failure and you know for sure that you're not going to be able to save that valuable meat that you just spent, hundreds and hundreds or maybe thousands of dollars to put in that freezer, I'm going to show you one way of preparing it and canning it without a pressure cooker. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Now, where did this stuff? Where was it invented from? Well, in 1795, there was a man by the name of Nicholas Appert. He was a chef, a French chef. At that particular time in history, Napoleon Bonaparte was trying to take over the whole world. Well, Napoleon didn't have a way to keep his army's food preserved on the road, okay? So he was going to make up the first bunch of rations that he could carry along that was already cooked, that a troop could get his hands on and eat and continue in the battle. That's where canning came from. So this man is a chef, okay? There is a reward of 12,000 dineros, I think it was, that was offered to the person who could come up with a way to supply Napoleon with that particular way of storing food for the soldiers. So this man came up with it, and in 1809, he won that $12,000 or dineros or whatever it is in French. He won that. Now, you would wonder back in those days, what did a canning jar look like? Well, we all know today, or anybody that was born in the country knows what a canning jar looked like and looks like now, which is what we're going to use today. But back during his time, this is what it looked like. This is just one of these bottles that I used to preserve herbs in. But their bottle, you all, was big at the top, wide at the bottom. They had a metal seal that they set down inside that thing because these things were cast. They were cast bottles. They put a metal seal down in there. Then they poured a particular type of wax called sealing wax on top of that thing. And that's how they canned that precious food that Napoleon needed. Well, that took off across the world, all over the whole world, and that's how it came about. So with that historic session gone there, you all, let's get over here to the stove. I will explain to you just how I'm going to do this. And this doesn't really take that long. I'm going to do it on my wood stove just like I did back in the old days. And that's the way Mommy did it. She did it on an old wood, copper-clad cooking stove that I can remember. And we would have upwards sometimes of, a number 3 washing tub completely full of sausage that we hand ground. Now, we didn't have no electric grinder. So what I'm stressing here, you all, is get ready to be able to prepare and save your food if there is a power outage that just lasts for months on end, that there's no way to get, gas, to run a generator or anything like that. I'm talking about doing this like the old people did it without electricity. All right, you all, I've got the Fisher stove fired up. She's really good and hot now. I just added a little bit of wood to it. Let me cut it down because we don't want that to smoke. I'm going to be using my mother's own griddle. Okay? Mommy's griddle. So I'll put that on the stove right there. I've already got the sausage made, you all, into balls. That will be added into the video with a voiceover so that you'll see what that looks like when I'm doing it, okay? I've got the canning jars in there. I'm going to go from here over into there where it's a little bit leveler to put the meat in the canning jars. But basically all there is to it, all there is to it is we fry this sausage, okay? We take this sausage and we put it in the canning jar. Make sure, and I'm going to stress this, for this particular type of canning, scald your jars, okay? Do not neglect to scald your jars and your lids. That's one way that you don't want bacteria sealed up in there with your meat. Let me just stress that, okay? That's one of the... All this is pretty simple. There's no question about it. You can smell that cooking right now, you guys. So what I did, you all, was this is deer meat right here, okay? So I've got 4 pounds of deer meat and 1 pound of bacon ground up and mixed together with this, with a breakfast mix, sausage mix that I purchased down there at Walmart. Now, if you don't have that particular kind of thing, you guys, you can just use salt. All right, you all, I'll stress this right here. Don't wait until an emergency to try to figure out what you're going to do. You've got to have a plan to keep your good old frozen food that you had in the freezer in a condition to where you and your family can consume it. If not, you're going to be just like all the rest of these people out here in the world. They're going to be running around wringing their hands when there ain't a thing left at Walmart, because when there ain't no electricity here, then after a while there's going to be no electricity at Wally World or anywhere else, and then everybody's going to be in chaos. Well, Mike, I'll watch a video. You probably ain't going to watch a video. You know why? Because when the internet goes down, electrical grid goes down, so does the internet. So you guys, you people that's got those Blackstone grills, those gas grills, perfect way. You can flop your sausage right on the grill, set your cans up and can that sausage. I mean, those things are valuable things to have. And I just might purchase me one. You know, when the time comes to where you can't get any propane or anything else, of course, they're not going to work. But as long as you've got a way to heat a skillet, even if it's over a stinking campfire, you can can your sausage, you guys, and you can can other types of foods that you can keep and preserve them so that you and your family can have something to eat. Boy, that stuff smells good. Now, you all, one other way that they did it was they would take this pan like you see me got set right here on top of the stove. They would take that pan, they would cover it with foil, and they would stick it in a wood stove oven. You can do that as well. I wanted to mention that. You do not have to fry it on top of the stove, okay? You can stick that stuff in the oven. And you can cook it that way just like you're making sausage balls. The only thing is you're going to get them out of there while they are scalding hot. You're going to place them in your mason jar and shut the lid. Now, by the way, you all, Mommy's old skillet is an 1800s model. The reason I know that is because it's got the gate marks on the bottom of it. I don't know if you folks know it or not, but you used to be able back in the old days to order a kit to make your own skillet. Can you smell that cooking? All right, you all, this recipe right here is a no blood recipe. I mean that this stuff has to be done through and through, completely cooked. This is not rare, medium rare. This is well done sausage. Let me stress that. This is no blood sausage. You can do this in smaller quantities too, you guys, because this was the mom's 7-member family size right here. As you can see, that cooking right there is not going to fill this one completely up. We're going to seal that up anyway, you guys, just like that. Now, when you're using hamburger and hog meat that's got lots of grease in it, Mom always took some of the grease and saved it to pour over the jar, okay? So you want to make sure, you guys, just like you're canning anything else, that this is dry. Okay. Make sure that's dry. Make sure your lid doesn't have any water on it. Put it on there. Boys, that's some good looking venison right there, you all. Yummy. Well, you all, if you think about it, a couple thousand years way before refrigeration ever existed, you either dried your meat, you smoked it, you cured it that way, or you brined it in brine, salted it down. Salt, you all, was used as a payment in the old world for work done, because people absolutely had to have salt. It was part of what you needed, particularly to, keep your body functioning correct. I know people go off the deep end and go, well, we don't need to eat no more salt. Well, sorry about that, but some people just don't know what they're talking about. You have to have a way to preserve your food. The Indians would kill literally hundreds of buffalo a year. They would preserve that by drying and other methods, okay? Turning it into jerky, turning it into pemmican. They kept that stuff without refrigeration. In the wintertime, it wasn't as hard as it would be during the summer months. But anyway, you all, I hope you enjoy this video. I really do. I wanted to show this because I know that there's coming a time right here in the near future when you're probably going to be without power for months on end, and we will see then who in society was prepared and who wasn't prepared. So you all get prepared, learn how to do these old-fashioned things, go on and practice it. Don't wait till the day the power goes out for you to decide that you're going to do something like this, okay? Do I sound like I'm preaching? Yeah, I'm preaching to you. Learn to do it now, and that way everything will turn out right when you do it. And of course, you all, the taste test. I tell you one thing right now, y'all. Jimmy Dean ain't got nothing on that right there. That might be some of the best that I've ever made. I don't like mine peppery. Some people like peppery sausage. I don't really like peppery sausage. Now you all, somebody's going to ask me how long will this stuff last. It depends on how these hungry people are around you. When there were 7 of us kids eating at mom and dad's house with them eating at the same time, by the end of the season, a washing tub full of fried sausage would be gone. I mean, we consume that stuff. It's really, really good. The main thing is, you all, if you keep this stuff in a cool, dark place, and I mean dry, not with no moisture at all, so that's what kills your lids, okay? This stuff, I've seen it last up to 10 years. I've looked at it and taken it down off of shelves where I used to work on the farm, where his mommy had canned it, and it was over 10 years old, and it was still good. So there you are. That you all, God bless you. Have yourself a bright and merry new year.